Good morning, everybody. Our children's message today was inspired by a story called Granddad's Prayers of the Earth by Douglas Wood. And in this story, a granddad and a child went out for a walk in the woods. And the child said, "Granddad, tell me about prayer," which is a big question. And the granddad said, "All living beings of the world pray. Each living thing gives its life to the beauty of all life, and that gift is its prayer," which is a big answer. So, as they go walking in the woods, Granddad explains some of what he means to the child. And today, I invite all of us to imagine going on that walk in the woods together and to experience some of the ways that Granddad talks about prayer. So whether you are even younger than the child in this story might be, or even older than the granddad in this story might be, I invite you to get up with me if you're able and comfortable, or at least to imagine walking in your chair. And I invite you to push your chair aside and stand. And my phone fell out of my pocket, so I invite you to be patient with me for just a second. All right, so we can imagine ourselves going on a walk in the woods, and can imagine the granddad and the child with us. And as they walked, the first thing they saw was the trees all around them. And the granddad said, "Look there at that tree, how it is reaching up so tall, reaching towards the sun and the moon and the stars and the clouds, always trying to connect up and connecting everywhere. That connecting is a way to pray." So as we be trees together, you can see how it feels to pray like a tree and reach up to grow and connect. The next thing that happened on their walk in the woods is they saw a big rock beside the path. And the granddad said, "Look at that rock." We can practice being like a rock together, curled up small. The granddad said, "The rock is still and it is quiet. It is sitting there and listening to everything that is going on in our world. And being still and listening is an important way to pray." So as we practice praying like the rocks, you can see how that feels. And the next thing that happened as they went on their walk was they came to a stream. You know streams. Sometimes they're kind of burbly, and it's like they're giggling, and it's like they're dancing. And dancing, it turns out, can be a good way to pray, almost like laughing. But sometimes during a storm, the water gets really rough, and it's crashing waves, and it's flooding like that, and it's big water, and that can be an important way to pray too. And sometimes the water gets really pretty peaceful and calm. Feeling peaceful can be a way to pray too. So whichever type of water you feel like today, just know that that way of feeling our feelings and expressing them through movement, that can be an important way to pray. Notice how that feels to pray with movement. So they cross the bridge over the stream, and they come to a big open field. And the field is just filled with flowers. It's like the height of the spring or summertime blossoms, flowers everywhere as far as the child and the granddad and we can see. And the granddad says, "Look at the flowers. The flowers are blooming, and they're giving off their scent. You're just giving it out into the world for anyone to feel and breathe in and enjoy." So as we do that, know that giving of ourselves is an important way to pray. And you can see how that feels. So they keep walking, and finally they arrive home. And the child says, but wait, but Granddad, we were out in nature and that was great, but now we're home and there's people everywhere in the house, but do people pray? How do people pray? And Granddad says, yes, of course people pray. Sometimes we pray with our actions when we're trying to help somebody else, to make our world a better place, to show somebody our love. That's an important way to pray. And sometimes we pray with our words if we're feeling very thankful or sad, or if we have a problem that's too big to solve by ourselves. Sometimes using words as a prayer helps. And child says, well, but Granddad, what are the right words? How will I know if I have the right words in my prayer? And Granddad says, oh, you don't have to worry about that. If your words are real and true and they come from the heart, then they are the right words. So I invite you to put your hand on your heart. You can close your eyes if you want. Just see if there are words there that feel real and true that you want to say right now. Maybe a sentence. And you can go ahead and say them if they are there. And if not, that's okay. My prayer for you all is that you know how much all of us at First Parish love you and how glad we are that you are here today.